Good morning, everyone. This is Diane, and I am working on this design team project for Artzology. And this is a book using this vintage book cover called Button Collecting. So I'll be using some of the pages from that book. And the kit is called Assemblage. So it's a bunch of collaged pages, which are wonderful. I showed yesterday the different elements that come with the kit, but and I'm not sure, I didn't look it up. I'm not sure if some of them are separate. I asked for Assemblage and she sent me all this stuff, so some of the embellishments might be separate. I am not sure, but I didn't realize that I hadn't printed these. There are 2 pages of circles. I'm not sure what I did with, oh, here it is. So they're just 2-inch circles from the pages. They would match the pages up. I don't have a 2-inch punch. I have 1 3/4 and I have 2.5. But I did cut one out, and I'll be cutting more of these out and using them. I like to use circles. So yesterday we just made some journaling cards and library pockets, very few of which will be used in the book, but I wanted a couple, so I made this. I think this is the one I'm going to use in the book. And this is an additional card that I made after I shut the camera off, with a cigarette card here, some book page, and I matched the embroidery floss to the little stripe that's in this paper. So that will be in the book. And last night before I went to bed, I knew I wouldn't sleep without doing some work. I ended up taking my mom to see The Lion King. She's been waiting for that. She and I are alike. We both like to watch the Disney movies. So I took her to see that. So before I went to bed, I knew I had to do some prep work on this or I wouldn't be able to sleep. So I sewed the trims on the edges of a couple of the pages in each signature, and I gathered up some supplies, some pieces that I already had in my stash waiting to be used, and I selected some fabric flips that I can choose from. So I am over at my sewing machine. Without any further ado, we're just going to get started. I'm supposed to spend the day with my sisters today, but I have time to work for about an hour or so before I have to leave. So let's get to work. I have threaded my machine with black thread to make the project look grungier, and you can see the thread better in black. So this is one of the things that I pulled out. I had this tag. I'm not sure why it was cut like at an, oh, I guess I did it. I just did it last night. I think I was supposed to glue this. This is from a Cricut. I was supposed to glue this onto a tag shape, but I decided to use it as a tuck spot. So I glued it to some cream cardstock and just cut the piece at an angle, and I'm going to do some messy stitching around it and put it on there. And I cut out 1 circle from that sheet, so I'm going to put that on there too. And then this will be a tuck spot here. So I kind of glued it down in the center, but it's not glued around the edges, so I'm going to do some messy stitching all around this tag. And I'm going to stitch around this too, because I think it would look funny just stuck on there with all that black stitching. I think this needs some stitching on it too. One of the great things about doing messy stitching on your projects is it looks cool, but also you don't have to sew a circle perfectly. So there we go. And I will put this on as a tuck spot. So I said yesterday I wasn't sure how to embellish the journal with all of these collage pages because I didn't know if more collaged elements would make the book too busy. So I think that what I've decided on is going to work pretty well. You'll see the things I chose. So it does look like an assemblage sort of embellishment without being overly busy, I think, in my opinion. So I think that's going to be fine. Do I have anything else in here prepared? I should. So I think she came out, she fell out. So she is supposed to be here. This is an image that I had printed from something. I don't remember where that came from. And then a little label from Roxy Creations. But this was an embellishment I had previously made. So I pulled it out of my stash. We had rainstorms yesterday, which cooled things off considerably, which I appreciate. But I do have my air conditioner on behind me because it's stuffy in here and I can't have the fan on. That makes too much wind noise in the camera speaker. So here's another piece that I had cut with my Big Shot, and I had this in my stash and I thought that would be a fun element. So I got out some more cream cardstock. I'm going to ink this a bit. Well, I better cut it to size first. I think I'll have an edge around this one. I'm just going to use my cutter behind me. So there's a bit of a border around it. And this is not cut straight, which I don't mind. So the Lion King was really good. Of course, we know the story. But it was very well done, and it is amazing how real those animals looked. I don't know how they do that. It was amazing. So this black stitching isn't going to show up that much. I'm going to use zigzag stitch, and that way the zigzag will come off onto the cream colored part. A little bit anyway. I'm gonna let some thread hang. I haven't been doing that for some reason. Oh, I didn't glue anything down in the center, so I'm gonna do some stitching through there too. So this is in the second signature that I'm working right now. Guess I should have paid attention to the size of my page when I added the border onto that. It's a little bigger than I want, so I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off each side. You can hear the pounding, the roofer. There's only one here today, I think. He's back at work. Hopefully he'll be finished today. Because I was told they'd be finished yesterday, but because of the rain, they couldn't. You might not be able to hear it. It's not right at this area of the house, but I can hear it. I cut one of the folders in half, and I'm going to glue or sew that on as a pocket right here. Whoops, went right off the page. I'm going for the messy stitching look. It was probably supposed to be on this side, but that's okay. And then here's another element that I cut with my Big Shot, and that's a Tim Holtz piece. So I'm going to cut that piece down to size. And I will sew it here. That's a littler tuck spot. Okay, so this is the third signature. I do need to print another one of these pages because there were 8 pages and I wanted 3 in a signature. So I need one more to put in here. And I need one more tracing paper. I didn't have any more copy dyed tracing paper, but I don't want to copy dye just so that I can have one piece of tracing paper. That one's all crumpled up. I think I can use that. I'll just use that one. But I do need to print, but I'm not going to do that right now. Something in there. I will ink this. I think I'll use this new stencil that I got in Happy Mail. Oh, not my brush. This vintage photo seems dark. So this wheel is pretty cool because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 designs on one stencil. going to find a piece of paper to put there for journaling. I have these leftover bits of their scrapbook paper, but they have ledger lines on them. That needs to be trimmed just a little bit. And now I will put a piece of a fabric flip here. I don't want it to be too big to cover that up. I'll add some color. Can put one of the tags from the kit in there. I will ink that on the back. And one of these sorry, tags that I made myself. This is a card that I made yesterday. I cut this button out of one of the pages of the book. I thought it was a pretty cool button, and I used the orange thread there. So this card definitely has to go in the book. Sorry, I don't know why my voice is so weird. All right, let's continue on. must need to do something else. Oh, let's do a fabric flip right there. Even the papers that I chose are kind of bland in color. There is some color on the digitals, but they're vintage looking. So there are little bits of color, but I can add some more color with the fabric. So there's some pink in that paper. I'm gonna use a pink flip. That one has a folder. So I'm going to add a folder pocket on this page, on this signature. This is the half that I cut off, but I don't really want to put the tree sideways. I could make it a tuck spot instead of a pocket. I don't know what I did with all the folders. I just had them. There they are, right where they're supposed to be. I like the color there. And I'll use that one for the other signature. I'm going to trim just a bit off of this one. It's a little too close to the edge. This paper must have been cut a little bit shorter. Cut the threads again. I meant it to go on this side. fits okay. Bobbin is acting weird. Wonder if it's at the end. I didn't think it was that low. No. I'll be glad when this bobbin is empty. Well, I'm going to stop the video here. I don't like my videos to be too long, so I'll be back.